Going live. Welcome to the Cap Rack. It is Saturday, February, 13th, Sam? February 13th. It's a day before Valentine's Day. We have a lot of college basketball picks for you. Get some extra lunch money to take out your significant other. Get them a nice gift. What do you say, Sam?
Or if more like me, you can go treat yourself to something nice on Valentine's Day with your winnings.
I mean, I'm right there in that boat with you. Okay, so we have 27 games through the model today. Let's see how many picks we got. We're going to stick with the theme of going between 0 and 1 on the edge if you've been following us. Yeah.
I'll go rogue on a couple picks too.
13 picks.
Right.
So half of our model projections for today are going to be picks, just so you guys know. When we're betting the favorite and the edge shows 0 to 1, we're 27 and 13 for 68%. When we're betting the underdog between 0 and 1, we're 50 and 24, also at 68%. So, I mean, throughout the course of the season, this is over 100 games of sample size. We can assume that we're going to get 68% win rate when we bet in between these. So, I mean, I'm going to stick with it. This is a pretty big development if it holds up.
Yeah, no, especially come tournament time if this is hitting. And we're gonna have a lot of like those, interesting matchups come that time. So should be nice and fun.
Absolutely. Alrighty. So let's kick this off here. We're gonna start with the picks for today. Then we're gonna run in and give you kind of some of the nice totals based off the model projections for the day. Some overs, some unders. I don't really know yet. I didn't really skim through it only because the model hasn't been so profitable on totals, so it's not as reliable as against the spread. I guess now would be a good time to run through the model projections. I mean the profit for the year. So total, we are up $262 and 0.24% of ROI. That's when betting the total, the number, unders and overs. When betting the spread, we're up $2,381, 2.2% ROI.
Ooh.
Yeah, pretty good. 291 and 241. That's the against the spread record, 54.7%. It's not great, but it's not bad. I remember when I posted the initial TikTok, kind of detailing the model. By the way, check us out on TikTok at Caps on Sports. I posted the model video, basically going through what it was, kind of what it did, how I use it, and just so everybody can be familiar and it's transparent. People were writing in the comments oh, 55%, not great, not great, not great. That's not great. And I'm like, what? It's pretty good. We're beating Vegas. You break even at 52.25.
It's profitable, so.
Yeah, everyone's like, it's impossible to beat Vegas. You're not going to do it. I mean, with another month and a half to go, we're 50 games positive against the spread. I mean, it's going to take a lot of losing to bring that negative. So I feel like we're going to end the year profitable. So, impressive. I'm happy with myself. I'm proud of my work.
Don't listen to the haters on TikTok.
I'm not listening to the haters on TikTok. They can get to you, though. You really fucking dig deep. All right. Let's do some model projections.
Let's do it.
Okay. I don't have times in front of me, so I'm just going to run through. We'll start with the UConn game just so you can reference it.
This one's at noon.
Okay. Xavier, 4-point favorites against UConn. I believe Xavier is 11 and 2. I don't have it in front of me, but I think it's
they're 11 and 2, 8 and 5 against the spread. UConn is 8 and 5 and 9 and 4 against the spread.
Beauty. Okay, so the model likes a 69 to 66 Xavier win, so it's showing UConn as the pick as an underdog, 4 points. We're looking at 0.97 points of edge there on UConn. So within that range, 0 to 1, we got an underdog that's 50 and 24, like I said before, based off the course of the season. So let's rock with UConn. You got anything more on that pick, Sam?
So Xavier has played one game since Sunday, January 10th, and that was 2 weeks ago on the 30th. They've played one game since then, and that was a 13-point win at Butler. Throughout this season, Xavier obviously winning games, and they have a good against spread record, but they have been a little subpar covering at home, surprisingly. And UConn's a very good team. I trust them more defensively, so I like them keeping this game, and if not win, then keep it within one possession.
Sure. Is Book Night back? Do you know?
I'm not sure, actually. I don't have an injury report because college basketball is the worst with injury reports.
I know. It's bad. We probably won't know until 11:45 because they're going out for warm-ups. All right, so we're going to rock with UConn +4 on the road at Xavier. Let's move on to the next game. We're going to go out west. This is probably a later game. If I remember correctly, this is like, I don't know, maybe like a 2, 3 o'clock game. It's like a late afternoon game for the West Coast, I believe.
Which one is it?
Oregon, Arizona.
Oregon, Arizona. Sorry, I'm scrolling through.
All right, well, while you're getting that.
2 o'clock.
2 p.m., okay. Arizona -2, the total set at 145.5. The model sees a 74-71 Arizona win, 2.89 points of margin there. So the edge, given the fact that it's a 2-point spread, is going to be that 0.89 number in there. So we like Arizona -2 today. This is one of those where the model predicts Arizona as a home team, 2-point favorite. It seems like logically correct and it's feasible. Arizona's a good team. They're 14-6, I think. I'm not sure of the number against the spread.
8-12 against the spread.
Okay, interesting. But I mean, I watched Oregon play last night or 2 nights ago, and wow, they were good. They're definitely a very good team, very solid team. They look like they were playing together. You're getting 2 points. It's just the fact that they're on the road. So, I mean, Arizona could be a very solid play here. The model likes it. What do you think?
Yeah, so both these teams are very similar in what they try to do. You know, they try to push tempo a little bit, and then like really statistically, they're almost identical. So you kind of just got to take, the home team that's looking like they've been a little better this season so far. 8-12 against the spread, not great, but Oregon's not exactly covering every week either. So
this is true.
They're sitting at 7-8 against the spread. So it should be a real back and forth game. It's going to come down to it when it's like a 2-point spread like this and 2 even matched teams. I feel like it comes down to how the free throws are going late game. If they end up if they're fouling like more and more, and then they can stack that total up a little bit. So, so we're hoping that Arizona can push through.
Yeah, I mean, these Pac-12 games, like, yes, it's a Power 5 conference, but it's Pac-5 basketball or Pac-10 basketball. It's just Pac-12.
Pac-12.
Pac-12 basketball. It's early. It's early, Sam.
Third time's a charm.
Yeah, I mean, regardless, it's not the best basketball. Like, even the upper echelon of that Pac-12 conference, like, probably wouldn't even sniff the top half of the Big Ten this year, at least.
Yeah.
All right, so Arizona -2. It's a model play there. Georgia versus Alabama. Now, last time we live streamed, I feel like, or no, it was last time we recorded the Cap Rack. I looked you straight in the camera and said Georgia is covering 12.5 points against.
That was against Tennessee.
Now.
And they went down by about 30 within 2 minutes, and
they did.
But
so, being a Georgia expert that I am, just nailing that pick, absolutely backdoor covering it. I'm going to flip sides here, and so is the model. But we have Georgia, Alabama. That's just my little 2 cents. I'm going to give you the model computer projections here. Alabama are 13-point favorites at home against Georgia. 158, really high total today. We're projecting an 89-75 Alabama win. Rounding errors is bringing that up to about 14 points, but it's 13.86 points of margin, giving us 0.86 points of edge on a 13-point spread. Now, I'm going to go back to what I was saying before. Alabama scares me here because Alabama is Georgia on steroids. I feel like it's literally
they are.
Like, you equate like Georgia and LSU, like 2 teams that play fast, they can score, and they don't play defense. Now you take Alabama, they're a better offensive team than both of those teams, and they play better defense. This is one of those games, like Alabama went on a stretch earlier this year of like 5-6 games where they just blew out like top competition in the SEC, and I think this is going to be one of those games where Georgia just can't defend and they get stopped enough.
Yeah, Bama, like the last couple games, been close where they lost at Mizzou and at South Carolina. The key words there, they were on the road. They play significantly better at home in Tuscaloosa. Like their last home game, they beat a very good LSU team by 18. I see a very similar kind of game here, where Bama is just going to roll over them.
I feel like it's a likely story. I mean, Georgia had no business covering that game. Like, I will take the win any day of the week.
No business.
I'll notch that in the win column. I'll bank the check. However, had no business doing that. So, Alabama -13 for that one. Let's move on to the next one. It's going to be Villanova at Creighton. This is going to be an interesting, very, very good Big East.
This is going to be a fun game.
We have Villanova as 2.5-point favorites. The total set at 144.5. The model likes Villanova 74 to 20 or 74 to 72. Bad. 1.74 points difference there on the score. So since it's below a 2.5-point spread, we're going to go with Creighton, the underdog, at home, 2.5 points. And it's a little scary to say this, but I absolutely love this pick. The only thing that scares me is Creighton's free throw shooting, closing out the game, getting a cover.
Mm-hmm.
However, they're underdogs at home here. So like I feel like they can win this game outright against Villanova, if not keep it close. At the same time, I can see Villanova easily covering a 3 number and winning this game by like 5, and it wouldn't even be considered a blowout. Like, it can be good all the way down till the end, and that's going to be it. So, I don't know. Creighton's free throw shooting scares me. The model likes Creighton. They're a very explosive team. We've seen them blow people out. We've seen them blow leads. We've seen them play close games. You just don't know what you are with Creighton. What do you think?
It's definitely a scary pick, but I'm gonna go with I like Creighton too. Actually, this is a game that I love to pick. You know, the ranked underdog at home.
Yep.
Like against the elite of the conference. Villanova, they have been playing good basketball as of late. But every team is beatable. Creighton. They play a very similar game too. They're going to try to. They can score. They can defend. I just think that Creighton's actually a little better in the transition game. If they can get that going, play at their own pace, then they should be able to not only cover but win this game as well.
I totally agree. All right, let's move on to the model's favorite team. It's going to be Northwestern visiting Rutgers. Rutgers -8. 137 on the total. We're projecting a 76-69 Rutgers win. So giving us a Northwestern cover on the road, 8 points. I feel like they're in the spot a lot.
It's always right around here.
They got no respect. Like the Northwestern is going to be one of my sleeper teams for the NCAA tournament, and
they're not going to make the tournament.
I mean, they have a shot to even make a run through that conference tournament and win it. I mean, they have.
I think they have to. I think they have to win the Big Ten tournament, or like they have to like get hot now and then make like the quarters or semifinals of that tournament.
I know. Regardless, where they are now, earlier in the year, they definitely had the preseason talent to be an NCAA tournament team, and they still have that talent to upset teams that are going to actually make the tournament. So, Rutgers might be one of those teams. It's possible. They're definitely on the cut line right now. I don't know if they're going to make it. It's a very deep Big Ten, so it's going to be tough. But
I think Rutgers is, at the moment, comfortably in, maybe around that 8-9 spot. But
yeah, I mean, you just never know. That's the thing.
It scares me because Rutgers is really good at home.
What are we doing here? What do you think?
I'm still gonna go with Northwestern.
It's
a lot of points. They're gonna play them tough, and they're the desperate team. They're the more not that Rutgers is not a hungry team right now. They need some wins, but this is not a game that are gonna come in like, oh, we got to win this game. This is more of it's a big trap game for Rutgers.
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean,
because guess who their next game is against?
Is it Illinois? No, Michigan.
It's Michigan. It's Michigan.
Returning from a COVID layoff. This
is a classic trap game for Rutgers here. I think they still pull out the win, but it's gonna be within a touchdown.
Alrighty. I lost my spot here. There we are. Utah at Stanford. Stanford 4.5-point favorites, 138.5 on the total. The model sees a 72-68 Stanford win, giving us Utah on the pick as the underdog on the road at Stanford with 0.6 points of edge. What do you think? I like Stanford, honestly.
Kind of like Utah, actually.
I mean, I'm just saying I like Stanford throughout the year. I don't really have a pick on this game personally.
Yeah.
Utah freaks me out because I just don't know what they are. When I think of Utah, in my brain, I still think of Kyle Kuzma, Utah, from like years ago. Because that was like one of the first couple of years I started following college basketball. So like, it's just one of those things where like I think of Utah, I think of Kyle Kuzma, and I just don't know anybody else on Utah moving forward. I don't know how good Utah is. They're just that like sneaky team in the Pac-12 that just sits at the middle of the standings every single year in every single sport.
Yeah, they're playing their best basketball right now, so I think they're going to hang around with Stanford.
All right.
And keep it within that 4.5 points.
Yeah, model likes him, so let's
Hell
ride
yeah.
with it.
All right, what do we got next?
UCLA at Washington. We're staying in the Pac-12. Pretty good UCLA team versus a pretty bad Washington team. The spread is 9.5 in favor of UCLA on the road. We have 141.5 on the total. The model sees a 72-63 UCLA win, giving us Washington against the spread. So I'm going to just preface this real quick. I bet Washington. It was 2 nights ago. The same night I bet Oregon. Whatever the last night the Pac-12 went. I don't know. It wasn't last night. I think it was 2 nights ago.
It was probably Thursday or Wednesday.
Yeah, it was definitely Thursday.
It was Thursday. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I bet them as 12-point underdogs. I don't remember who they were playing.
So did I, actually.
I think it was USC. The model picked them. It lost there. I mean, I guess we're live streaming. We're not on a time crunch here, so I can go.
Yeah, they lost 69-54 Thursday night against USC.
So let's see. When scrolling. Let me refresh my little table here. 0-2 when Washington is the home team. So, fade? You down?
UCLA, baby.
A possible fade? I don't know.
I like this UCLA team, so.
I mean, the model likes
Washington can't stop a nosebleed, so.
It's true. The model likes Washington. You don't have to bet the Washington team. You don't have to take the pick. You can fade it. You can go just completely.
Yeah, I'm just not going to touch this game. That's.
I don't know.
That's what I'm going to do.
It's right in that sweet spot where I'm just uncomfortable taking the spread.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Whatever. The model likes Washington with an edge of 0.5. So let's keep moving on here. It is 11:17 in the morning. We have about 43 minutes until first tip for today. We're going to move on to Vanderbilt at Mississippi State. 7.5 points in favor of Mississippi State. 139.5 on the total. 75-69 says the model for an 8-point margin. We're getting 0.49 points of edge there on Mississippi State, a very, very solid Mississippi State team, and a sneaky Vanderbilt team coming to visit. What do you think?
Yeah, Vanderbilt is not going to be able to stop them. They have no defense whatsoever. That's why they're 1-8 in the SEC.
Oh yeah.
Mississippi State, they've been playing good. They're playing a lot of shootouts here. A lot of things definitely score the ball. And yeah, I just think they're going to be able to handle Vanderbilt home here with relative ease.
Mm-hmm. So early in the year, now just something I've been noticing just by putting these picks in every single day is that, I mean, it can apply to this game as well, where the home teams in the beginning of the year weren't really covering at a very high rate to the point where now I feel like teams are getting comfortable and they're I feel like normal trends that we normally see in a normal year are starting to take form now because people are getting comfortable with like the whole COVID system and how you play basketball under a pandemic and the travel restrictions and the testing restrictions, and I feel like it's starting to finally feel like college basketball a little bit.
Yeah, just like especially with the young teams that didn't really have the preseason camps to get to know each other too well. That's why a lot of like Duke and Kentucky are struggling. They're younger teams.
Yep.
And even like the same thing with covering at home, they're not quite gelling yet. And they're going to have those extra few points whenever you're a home team against the spread. So
yeah,
now that they're figuring out the groove, you're going to start to see more of the trends, even out like you would expect.
I mean, the goal is to hammer March, so we're getting there. We're a couple weeks away, only 3 weeks away. I'm actually less than 3 weeks away from my Vegas trip now. I'm very excited for that.
Wowza!
Very excited. Okay, so let's move on. We're going to go Providence visiting DePaul. Providence are 2.5-point favorites. We have 138 on the total. 70-67 says the model. Providence giving us the pick with 0.3 points of edge. I like this pick a lot. I really do.
I love this pick.
Providence is a very, very solid team. They play very big down in the post on the low block. They rebound. They're tough. They're hard to defend against because they can kick it out and they can play inside. DePaul, on the other hand, not a very good Big East team, but still with Big East talent. So I don't really know what to make of a DePaul team that
Mm.
year in and year out, I feel like I don't know what to make of a DePaul team.
Yeah, every year they're a mystery, but I think it's pretty clear that they're just not there quite yet.
Yep.
And only at 2.5 points here. I love the pick. Providence 10-10. They could, a couple wins, maybe get sneaking into that to that last four in. I think they're around there right now, actually. So,
Yeah,
a win on the road at a DePaul team. Yeah, they're 3-8, but a win's a win at this point. So you can't take a loss here.
totally. Alrighty, rocking with Providence there. Now let's move on to, we're going to stay in the Big East. Butler visiting Georgetown. Georgetown are 1-point favorites, 132 on the total. We like a 1-point Georgetown win, 69-68, but it's 1.28 points of margin. So we like Georgetown with 0.28 points of edge there as the home favorite. 1 point, pretty easy. Butler, not very good. Georgetown, also not very good. However, Georgetown plays quick. They play up-tempo. They play quicker than Butler does. I just feel like they're going to overrun them and really take control of the pace of the game, and that's going to be a big factor here.
Yeah, actually, not too long ago, Georgetown had a nice win at Creighton. And they played at Creighton again last week, and they got smacked around at home. But we're going to forget about that. They played Villanova pretty well. Like they're not a bad team. They're definitely better than 5-10. But also Butler's nothing to write home about either. So it's again we're kind of taking the home team here. They have some good wins that both teams do. So take the home team when it's pretty evenly matched game. I do like this Georgetown team.
I mean, even though there's not a lot of talent in this game, I mean, in the college basketball. Relative to the college basketball sphere, I still think that I can be very confident in Georgetown today because the spots line up logically. It seems like it makes sense. We have the model verification. I think we go with it. I'm gonna go with it personally.
Right. Yeah, I like it too.
Okay, let's move on. Mississippi visiting South Carolina. Mississippi 1.5 point favorites, 137 on the total. We're looking at a 75-73 Mississippi win on the road, giving us, and it pains me to say this, a South Carolina pick. I really like Ole Miss this year. They're a very solid
taking Ole Miss. I don't care.
I agree with you. I really think that they're going to cover. They're going to win this game. South Carolina is getting too much respect here because they have those in-conference big wins. Like you said, the Georgetown one over Creighton. South Carolina has one or two of those wins. I don't remember who.
Yeah,
I'm really bad with remembering schedule history.
They beat Florida.
Okay.
They just gave Bama a solid game. Let's move back a little bit, but they also lost to Vanderbilt.
Okay.
They got Auburn score 109 points in regulation.
I think it was that Florida game that turned my head a little bit. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, that's their only ranked win this year. They lost to Liberty earlier in the year. Yeah, they're not good.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay to fade the model. I think I'm going to do it in this spot here. Model says South Carolina 0.14. The two of us say Mississippi, so take it for what you will. Sometimes the computer's smarter than we are, so, I mean, it's only one way to find out.
Ole Miss has been rolling recently. They got wins over Tennessee and Mizzou in their last three, and now the third was at Auburn in that little comeback victory they had. So,
yep.
I love this team here. I think they're better in every aspect of the game. So,
for sure. Okay, let's move on. We have Wake Forest visiting Florida State, a 13.5 point spread. As you can imagine, Florida State are favored, 136.5 on the total. We're looking at a 79-65 Florida State win. We're getting 0.13 points of edge there on Florida State. This is scaring me a little bit, but Florida State is home, so it's giving me some comfort, Sam. Can you please give me some more comfort, or are you going to take Wake Forest here?
It'll take so much away from me right now. No, it's I don't. This is a game that I'm probably going to steer clear of as well. Just with Florida should handle them very well, but the last time we saw them was 2 weeks ago where they lost at Georgia Tech. Not a bad team in any sense. No, that's not what I'm really saying. It's more the fact they've had 2 weeks shutdown. They're just coming out of today.
Yeah.
But again, Wake Forest too is not exactly a team that scares me. So Uh, hmm.
I'm going to go the hard stay clear of this game today.
Yeah, this game is a little scary for my taste. Big spread.
Look, all
Um,
right, so we're shitting on these games. However, the model is spitting them out at like 68%. So I don't that's what I don't get. Like
yeah, I know, like, but I just have to use the eye test at least a little bit
I agree, and I definitely
from
have
time to
another eye
time.
test coming up right now. Are you ready for this?
Oh yeah, I already know I know what it is.
Auburn at Kentucky. Kentucky, and hold on, if you need to sit down for this one, they're 2.5-point favorites against Auburn.
Why the fuck is
Dude, I don't know. I couldn't tell you. 147.5 on the total. And here, if you need to grab a second chair to sit down one more time, we're looking at a 76-73 Kentucky win and a Kentucky cover with .1 points of edge. I'm gonna flat out tell you no. I'm gonna say go put your money on Auburn today.
I'm gonna flat out tell you, ride with Kentucky.
Sam, you just gave me the big switcheroo. I don't like it, but I'm gonna give you the floor now to back
I
yourself
gave
up.
you the big switcheroo.
No, I mean I can see it. Why do
Yeah,
you think that?
no, actually, I don't love Kentucky here. I don't love either team here. Um, Auburn scared me, and in the last time I watched them when they blew a lead to Ole Miss. I think they had a 6 point lead with 2 minutes left. So, and they've had a couple instances this year where they've struggled to close out games. Obviously, Kentucky has had that problem as well with closing out games. They had a nice lead against for a lot of that game against Tennessee a week or two back, and then they just got shit on and lost by 12. I mean, the ESPN crews that keep getting to talk about Auburn, tell them they're the best team in the country from time to time.
Well, because they
So
love Bruce Pearl.
they love Bruce Pearl and they love that Sharif Cooper. Is that his name?
I mean, he's
Yeah.
good, but like
Oh, he's very good.
if you look, but you just need to look at their peers around the SEC and be like, I mean, they're not the best team in the country,
So,
let
like,
alone their conference.
Kentucky to me is a bit of a sleeping giant in that they do have loads of talent on this team, and they have shown it at times. It's they really haven't put together a complete game. And I don't know if I'm just thinking crazy here, but I think today they can put together enough of a game to beat Auburn.
I mean, look, I don't totally disagree with you. I don't want to agree with you here, but like I'm slightly agreeing because it goes
But
back
also at
to
the
what
same
we.
time, I do like Auburn too, like, by your logic. So
All right, so I can see this game going two ways. Let's break this down. A very slim Kentucky win, kind of like the model suggests, like 76-73, or Auburn wins this game by like 10 points, and it's like an utter disappointment for John Calipari. Like,
yeah,
it's like, oh, how do we lose by 10 to Auburn? This bad season continues. Like, and I'm leaning towards that narrative a little bit. I feel like that's kind of
I'm very scared of that happening. I think it very well could happen, but um, I'm gonna I'm gonna put my earned money on the Kentucky Wildcats today. Oh, why would I do that to myself?
I have no idea. Alrighty, so that rounds up all of our model plays for today. Um, Sam, do you have the totals in front of you? You have the whole sheet, right?
I do have the whole sheet.
Alrighty, so let's start picking out some games here. Let's look at some totals. So I made an adjustment to the model a couple months ago, probably like a month and a half, I would say, where we were predicting far too many unders and the games were flying over. So I did a little adjustment that added about 5 points of prediction on average. So based off, assuming that the model was correct in the beginning or at equal, we were predicting under. Now I brought us back up to where I feel like it's at equal in terms of predicting the amount of points. Therefore, when we're getting a good edge on the under, it's going to be a big play, and we've been seeing a lot of success with that. Two of those games are here today. Nope, only one.
We got UCLA at Washington.
Yeah, 5.76 points of edge on the under. We have a 141.5 total. Yeah, 141.5. We're looking at 135.74 total scored. So, ride under. I mean, UCLA is not like overpowering by any means, and Washington really struggles. So, I can see that going in.
Yeah, any of the totals you're liking here? We do have an 11-point edge on an over.
What is that? That is a South Carolina
Mm-hmm.
Mississippi game. It's a 137 total. We're looking at 148. So okay. I mean that's pretty convincing here.
With what I've seen lately, yeah, I do like that going over.
Okay. All right. So we have that one. I'm also seeing an 8-point over here in the Northwestern Rutgers game. Oh, it's only at 137. Now that's like
Ooh,
I'm gonna stay away because Northwestern,
yeah,
they're not like they scored in the beginning of the season and then now
and then they
they
stopped.
kind of just stopped doing it. Yeah, I don't know why, but
It's a bold strategy, but
and I think I've seen Rutgers
see if it
score in the
pays off.
40s twice this year. Stay away.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Um,
They
what
also
else?
held Michigan State to the 30s not too
Yeah,
long ago.
it's a good point. Alrighty. What time is it? We got 11:30. We went about 45 minutes last Saturday when we started live streaming. So we got a couple more games that we went through here. A couple more picks that Sam and I both like. Um, do you want to start with the Loyola Chicago game? Because
Yeah,
okay.
that's what I was feeling right there.
All right. So let's start with that and let's go up the little chart here.
Yeah, so we have a juggernaut battle in the mid-major season here. 17-3 Loyola at 19-1 Drake. It's a 4-point spread in favor of the road team Loyola Chicago.
The Ramblers.
And if you've been following this year, you'll know that Drake they like to cover. They're 15-3 against the spread this season, and I like them to cover here. The model does as well. And just I'm gonna have a hard time betting against a 19-1 team at home. I don't care who they're playing. I mean, this is a Drake team that popped in the top 25 recently. Both teams score pretty well and play solid defense. Granted, they probably don't have the higher competition than some of these other teams, but let's go Drake. Let's get a nice dub here over Loyola Chicago.
Yes. Dude, I don't know. I didn't like you texted me last night and you said like the best game of the day is at 12 p.m. and I'm thinking it's gonna be like Oklahoma, West Virginia, or like some really really good game. And then you said it was this, and I was like, okay, that's actually like a really good game. But what's the
Yeah.
spread? I looked at the spread, thinking Drake would probably at home be like 1 or 2 point favorites, and it's not. I was like 5 points off in my assumption there. So 3.5 points at home on Drake, 19-1 team. Why not? Just ride with it.
Yeah. Yeah, why not?
I'm not going to stare into the camera and
Yeah.
tell you I know everything about Loyola Chicago and Drake because there aren't many people in the country that do. Okay, let's move on to the next one. We're going to go to actually Oklahoma and West Virginia. A game that I really like. West Virginia -3, total is 144.5. Model has a 70-74 West Virginia win, giving us 1.21 points of edge on that one. Now, this qualifies to be a play per our model statistics. Betting the edge between 1 and 2, the model is 36-25, hitting at 59%, so very solid there. We got success in this range. I like West Virginia here. Oklahoma's a good team. West Virginia is home. Defense definitely will be there at home. Oklahoma, we see like they have the talent, but they just don't keep it together. Like they go through these runs where they just give up like 7-0 runs, 8-0 runs, 9-0 runs, and then they either lose a lead or they're down. And West Virginia's not going to allow them to creep back into it because they're a very solid program themselves. They're very well coached by Bob Huggins, and I like it. Do you agree, Sam?
Mm. Yeah, I do actually. you're looking back to Oklahoma where they had wins at Texas, home against Bama, home against Kansas in a week span. But that was a few weeks ago. More recently, they lost at Texas Tech, and they beat an Iowa State team that they really should have handled better than that. Just right now, West Virginia is the better team,
I totally
and
agree.
they're coming off two big wins. So let's ride with the Mountaineers here.
Alrighty. Next game, we have USC visiting Washington State. USC -8, 133.5. Washington State is coming out as the pick with 1.21 points of edge. I mean, definitely doesn't qualify as a model play because when we're betting the underdog between 1 and 2, we're 32 and 31, hitting at 51%, so losing money there. I would say stay away for sure. USC is a good team. We saw them play Washington the other day. They covered a 12-point spread, I believe, and yeah, it's just Pac-12 basketball. It's one of those like around 10-point spreads where you just don't freaking know.
Yeah, and USC's role, and they've kind of established himself as the alpha of the Pac-12. So, but also Wazoo has not been terrible. Um,
No, they really haven't.
so, and they're at home. 8 points is a scary number for me. So, I'll steer clear. Steer clear.
Yeah. Okay. I'm trying to think of what the 12 o'clock games are for today, so we can get those to the people.
All right, let me go to all
see.
Division One right here. We got there's Indiana and Ohio State. That's 7. Ooh, that's actually not bad.
All right, so let's go there first, and then I know Kansas State, Oklahoma State is also a 12 o'clock game, right?
Yeah, that's one of the other 12s, and then that's really the only notable ones we haven't touched on already.
Okay, and then we can go rapid fire with the other ones and call it a day.
All right.
Indiana at Ohio State, 6.5-point favorite Ohio State team, 136.5 on the total. We have a 72-63 Ohio State win based on the model, giving us a 2.15 points of edge there on the pick of Ohio State as the favorite at home. This is going to be a stay away from me, man. I like an Indiana team on the road with 6.5 points, but at the same time, I feel like we haven't seen Ohio State play in a while, but they're still ranked a top 5 in the country. They're a very talented team. They're home. I think they can cover a 7 number, and I also think Indiana can. So you know what that means? Don't do it.
I actually really like Ohio State.
Okay.
Here, this team has kind of flown under the radar as much as a 4th-ranked team in the country can. Like I feel like they kind of like just they just kept to their business and just kept winning games. And a week and a half ago went into Iowa and beat them there. This team's grooving. I think they found they're very confident going in. It's Indiana team. Yeah, they're a solid team. Trace Jackson Davis is a stud. But I don't know what I do. I know it's a big spread here, but I gotta go with Ohio State.
All right. I don't have a strong enough case to tell you no, so let's move on. Let's go back to the 12 o'clock game. We're going to do Kansas State at Oklahoma State. We have a 13.5-point spread. Oklahoma State is favored, 137.5 on the total. We're looking at an 81-63 Oklahoma State win. Big edge there. 4.28 points of edge. I don't know what to say here. Kansas State's a bad team. Oklahoma State has the best player in the country. I feel like this should be a cover, but it's just a high edge that is scaring me because it might show that there is like a bit of an error or a miscalculation with the model, or it's just not a good game or not two good teams to put against each other. I don't know. I haven't necessarily figured out why the big edges are inconsistent, but based off the eye test, what do you think here?
Eye test, I definitely want to take who are we talking? Oh my God!
Kansas State,
OK State. Yeah, I just drew a blank for a second. Sorry about that. But yeah, eye test. I do like OK State. Especially if Cunningham's in a groove today, and I got guys around him that are making shots. But again, even like a couple nights ago, I bet on Kansas State plus 12 or 13 against Texas, and they were able to cover that. Granted, they were at home in that game though, so. I'll lean OK State here at home. I don't know if I'm confident enough to play it myself, but I'm leaning towards OK State.
Alrighty. Yeah, I kind of agree with you there. Kansas State's not a good team. They're on the road. They could just as easily score like 45 points and give up over 60, and they lose the cover. So, interesting game. We have Iowa visiting Michigan State. The spread for this, I think, is very low. 4.5. Iowa is favored on the road. 152.5 on the total. We're looking at 79-71. Almost an 8-point Iowa win projected by the model. 3.28 points of edge there on Iowa. I like Iowa and the under here. What do you think?
Yeah, I do like Iowa here. Michigan State is not a very good basketball team. Although they do have spells of inconsistency. Iowa does, especially from the 3 point shooters. Garza is gonna get his. It's a matter of can the surrounding cast keep up. And Michigan State, they're 10-7. They're 4-13 against the spread. That's not good. It's
Mm-mm.
very not good. And I just think they don't have enough firepower to keep up with Iowa, especially if they're grooving. So let's go with Iowa here on the road.
Yeah, this is a very low spread. Um, Next game that I think is important to talk about, and we're going to be on opposite sides here. Tennessee at LSU. We have Tennessee as -3 on the road, 145.5 on the total. The model likes pretty much a dead tie. It's saying 73.17 for Tennessee and 73.08 for LSU. So a very, very, very small Tennessee win on the road. I immediately texted you when I put these in and said, screw the model. Tennessee is covering because with a 3-point spread there and a tie projection, it's showing about 3 points of edge there on LSU. But I watched Tennessee play their last game, and they played phenomenal defense. They didn't miss, and they're just looking like they're on a roll finally playing as a team. And they have the talent, and it's almost inevitable that they're going to come together. And I feel like this is a game where they can really prove that they have. If they're on the road against an LSU team that's like middle of the pack in the SEC, they're good. They can score a shit ton of points, but they cannot play defense. And I think that's the difference maker here. This is a very, very low spread. This shocks me almost as much as Iowa -4.5 at Michigan State. Now, I know you're on LSU. Make your case. Let's see it.
Alrighty. LSU today. Um, all your points are very valid for Tennessee here. Um, but LSU, this is more of a for me. It's more of a gut feeling than anything, honestly. I think Cam Thomas is gonna feel a good game from him. Definitely, I think probably the best player on the court for either side, especially offensively. Um, they're at home. They've been playing solid basketball. It's just a matter of, and Tennessee, I'm not convinced yet they're totally there offensively because they do go through spells where I just forget how to score.
Yep.
And I think one of those spells today for Tennessee, and then that spells trouble for them.
Alrighty. Only time will tell. Do you have any other good games for the day? We have North Carolina at Virginia.
I was gonna say maybe North Carolina at UVA.
Yeah, it's a 6-point spread. Virginia favored at home, 128.5 on the total. We're looking at a 69-64 Virginia win. North Carolina is going to be the pick. 1.36 points of edge as the underdog on the road. This is a stay clear game for me. I don't know if you have any indication on it.
I'm leaning UVA in this game. It's been the better team as of late, especially outside of UVA and their visit to Blacksburg, where they forgot how to score for a while. They've been playing well, and they're getting back to really locking down on defense like we're used to.
Mm-hmm.
So I do like this UVA team here. I'm gonna steer clear unless I'm having a good afternoon slate because it's a 6 o'clock game. If I'm sitting at 6-1 of the day, then I'll throw a unit on UVA. But yeah, I'll lean UVA. But definitely see what that line does if it moves at all.
Alrighty. So, any final games, final thoughts, anything we missed before we log off?
There's one game that I want to mention real quick, and it's a game that obviously no one really gives a shit about. But there is an interesting little trend going on with this team, and this team is Mississippi Valley State University.
Aha.
Where'd they go? There they are. So they just won their first game of the year in their last matchup, but they're a 14-point dog today at home against a 3-9 Alcorn State team. Mississippi Valley State. I got hip to these guys from my buddy Matt, and so I'm trying to pull up their old games here. Sorry about that. We're scrolling. There they are. So Mississippi Valley State this year have losses by 45, 50, 34, 44, 41, 50, 45, 40, And these are against, the last time they played Alcorn State, they lost actually by 12. So, maybe they can stick around. But
Interesting.
I've been on a little kicker, always fade Mississippi Valley State. So maybe worth like, a little sprinkle on,
Hmm. All right, one more game where I think the dog on the road can win. It's Arkansas on the road at Missouri, 3.5-point
Arkansas.
Missouri favorites. The model likes Arkansas with 3.4 points of edge. It's predicting a tie at 77, even closer than the Tennessee LSU game. It's actually a .06 margin right there. But yeah, I think Arkansas can win this game on the road. They're 3.5-point underdogs. You smash the money line, put a little half unit play there, 3/4 unit play.
Oh yeah.
Let it rock. I think they can win that game.
I really like this Arkansas team.
Yeah, they're good. They're pretty good.
They can score like the elite of the SEC, but they can hold it down defensively pretty solidly as well. So
Definitely.
I think honestly, tell me if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I think they're the second best team behind Alabama in that conference. Actually, maybe third behind Tennessee and Bama, but
yeah, they're
I
up
don't think
there.
there's a definitive better team than them. Beside, we'll see today because the only one really that's in contention with them would be Mizzou. So, it'd be a nice test for Arkansas today.
Definitely. Okay. Pretty much it. Any final thoughts, concerns, remarks, issues, wishes?
I got nothing else except I'll have a post up later today with some NHL picks from Alec and myself. Make sure to follow Caps on Sports on Twitter. You'll find those there and on the website capsonsports.com.
Indeed. Alrighty, so that just about wraps up this episode. We have 2 concurrent viewers. If anybody has a quick question before we wrap this up, I'm going to give it a little bit longer. Speak now or forever hold your peace. The model is going to close for the day, and we're not going to be able to help anybody anymore. Staring at the chat, staring at the chat, staring at the chat, staring at the chat. Nothing? Alrighty. That wraps up this episode of The Cap Rack. My name is Tyler Blumenstick, alongside Sam Meehan. This has been your Saturday, February 13th episode for college basketball picks. 27 games from the model, 13 picks. Go watch the rerun if you missed stuff from the beginning. Immediately at the end of the stream, we're going to have this up on the page. So go check it out, comment, like, ask us questions, interact on social media with us. Let us know. We want to help. Pretty much it. Until next time. We'll be back, Tuesday maybe? Monday?
Yeah, Tuesday. Probably Tuesday. Those are big basketball days.
Yes. Alrighty. So Tuesday it is. We will see you then. Adios.
Tuesday.